From the streets to the stage, Car Mechanic Man's Hotel California wins golden buzzer. The smell of motor oil clung to his hands no matter how many times he washed them. For most people, the scent might be unpleasant, but for Ethan Cole, it was the smell of survival. For 15 years, he'd been fixing cars in a small, dimly lit garage on the outskirts of town. Life hadn't been kind. His father had passed away when Ethan was 17, his mother's health had declined soon after, and his own dreams of becoming a singer were buried under bills, broken engines, and the constant grind of trying to make ends meet. Yet, every night, after the last customer left, Ethan would close the garage door, pull out his battered old guitar, and sing into the quiet darkness. His voice, rich and soulful, told stories of pain, hope, and resilience, though no one was there to hear them. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, a woman in her late 50s walked into the garage. Her car had broken down just a few miles away. She looked exhausted, the kind of tired that went beyond a bad day. While Ethan worked under the hood, she wandered around the shop, humming softly to herself. That's when she noticed his guitar leaning against the wall. "Do you play?" she asked, curiosity sparking in her eyes. Ethan chuckled. "A little," he replied, brushing it off. She insisted he play her something while the car was warming up. Ethan hesitated, but something in her kind smile made him say yes. He sat down, strummed the opening chords of Hotel California, and began to sing. Halfway through the song, the woman's eyes filled with tears. She wasn't just listening, she was feeling every note. When Ethan finished, she took a deep breath and said, "You don't belong here. Not just here. You belong out there, on a stage." Ethan smiled politely, thinking she was just being nice. But the woman wasn't done. She introduced herself as Clara Hensley, a retired music producer who once worked on major talent shows. "Promise me," she said, "if I get you an audition, you'll go." Ethan laughed it off, but Clara left her number anyway. Weeks passed, and Ethan's life continued in its steady rhythm. Then one day, after an especially rough week of overdue bills and late-night repairs, Ethan stared at Clara's number on a crumpled piece of paper. Something inside him whispered, "What if?" He called. 3 weeks later, Ethan found himself backstage at America's Talent Stage, surrounded by polished performers and dazzling costumes. He felt out of place in his cleanest but still oil-stained jeans, holding his old guitar. When it was his turn, the bright lights nearly blinded him. The judges glanced at his simple appearance, perhaps expecting an average performance. Then he started to sing. From the first note, the room fell silent. Ethan's voice carried the grit of a man who'd worked with his hands all his life, yet it soared with the tenderness of someone who still dared to dream. By the time he reached the chorus, the audience was on their feet. The camera caught one of the judges wiping away tears. And then, it happened. Judge number 3 slammed the golden buzzer, showering Ethan in gold confetti as the crowd erupted. But that wasn't the most powerful moment of the night. After the show, Ethan was approached by a man in the audience, tall, lean, wearing a worn leather jacket. He introduced himself as David, a fellow mechanic from Ethan's hometown. His voice shook as he said, "I was gonna give up on everything, man. But watching you up there, you made me believe maybe I can change my life too." Ethan felt his throat tighten. For years, he had sung to an empty garage, never realizing that his voice could mean something more. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's audition clip went viral. People from all over the world, truck drivers, single mothers, veterans, students, sent him messages saying his story had inspired them. Clara watched from the sidelines, smiling like a proud parent. She had seen talent before, but she knew Ethan's gift wasn't just his voice, it was his heart. When the finals arrived, Ethan stood on the same stage, this time in a crisp shirt and jacket someone from wardrobe insisted he wear. As the music began, he closed his eyes and remembered the boy who used to sing in his father's small apartment, the man who fixed cars under flickering lights, the stranger who encouraged him to take a chance. His final performance was more than a song, it was a thank you to everyone who had believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. Ethan didn't win first place that season. But in many ways, he won something far greater: self-belief, purpose, and the knowledge that his voice had touched lives. Back in his garage, he still fixed cars, but now there was a framed photo of him on stage, golden confetti falling around him. And sometimes, when the day was done, he'd take out his guitar and sing Hotel California, only now, the world was listening. Because sometimes, the greatest victories aren't about trophies or titles. They're about proving to yourself that the dream you thought was gone, was just waiting for you to find the courage to chase it again.